it hasn't always been the case for vendors doing business with the town of Amherst. Some have even stayed away from bidding on work.
Now, this is a problem that goes back years and involves stiff contract requirements for those vendors. The News 4 Investigates team and Luke Moretti take a look at the issues and what's being done now to smooth out the wrinkles.
This played out before the Amherst Town Board about a year ago.
I'm embarrassed to say that it's been extremely difficult to get paid for services and supplies.
A vendor doing business with the town had trouble getting paid. He brought those concerns right to the people in power, in public.
Not only for myself, but for other vendors who are in the same boat as my company is. I'm begging the town board to find the root of the problem and please start paying the bills.
Eventually, the town paid the vendor after required documents were submitted. Erie County's largest suburb has had problems paying some vendors and finding others to work with. Town Highway Superintendent Patrick Lucy knows all about that.
All I know is that we have certain vendors who used to work with the town in the past who have told us they don't want to do business with us anymore.
For example, a truck that the highway department needed for snow removal sat idle for months because a vendor refused to work on the vehicle.
This is just one bit. This paperwork.
Lucy thinks strict vendor requirements put in place years ago are costing the town more money in the long run.
Because the less people that are bidding on a service or a product or anything to do with the town, obviously the people who are bidding are going to have, a cost, but the more people that bid, you have more variety to pick and choose the lowest cost.
Amherst Town Supervisor Brian Culpa suspects the problem stems from an accident years ago. A roofer who fell from a ladder and broke his neck in 2002.
It's a problem for the town.
The roofer won a huge award in court, which required the town of Amherst to borrow millions to cover the judgment.
The town regrouped and put together very stiff sort of sets of rules by which somebody could work within the town. So we require contracts for a lot of our work.
Those contracts come with clauses that some vendors claim they've never seen before. If the vendor's invoice is missing any required documentation, the town will send it back unpaid. Tackling this problem is at the top of Culpa's to-do list. But he has a message for any vendor who might complain about the changes.
If we want that information, we're going to ask for that information. If you can't comply to it, don't respond. I get it, there's some vendors who can't meet town insurance requirements. I'm sorry, the town has high insurance requirements. We're a big town with a lot of money at stake.
Talk about a sad state of affairs. Highway Superintendent Patrick Lucy uses a bucket to collect rainwater that leaks from a roof on top of the administrative offices. He says even replacing a roof has become increasingly difficult for the town.
When we put out the bid, nobody would bid on the contract at all. Couldn't get anybody to do a roof here.
Eventually, a bid came in for the roof, but it was scrapped after the town determined the price to be excessively high. The town plans to rebid the project with a new design just in time for warmer weather.
We're dealing with taxpayer money. We can't just pay out unless they're complying with what we require them to do.
In the meantime, Supervisor Culpa has hired a new director of finance. Among other things, he says the town is working on a new procurement policy and centralizing the process of dealing with vendors, contract requirements, and payments.
We're going to be able to put out a better set of bid documents, and we're going to be able to do a better job of making sure that the vendors can fulfill the requirements of those bid documents, and ultimately that we can pay them in a timely manner.
Now, among other things, Culpa says he spent a lot of time trying to evaluate vendor payment issues. He tells News 4 the town is heading in the right direction, but admits there's still work to be done. Culpa says the town is already seeing more vendors bidding on work. We'll keep you posted. Luke Moretti, News 4.